Hello there, General Kenobi. Today we are going to be thoroughly talking about that sweet Star Wars Episode 9 Rise of Skywalker trailer that just dropped at D23. Which means for those of you who don't want to hear any spoilers, yes, I'm talking to you, there will be spoilers in this video. Okay, you were warned. Now, like I was saying, it's been way too long since we got an update or any further details on the Rise of Skywalker, and this little teaser was way overdue. We won't be getting an actual trailer until probably October, so we're going to pick apart every single frame of this trailer to get as much Star Wars out of it as possible. Now, I think this movie is going to try to be very emotional, and I think they're going to try to trick us and steer us in the wrong direction as much as possible with this teaser, but I already have so many ideas racing through my head, I just need someone to tell them to. And stick around until the end of the video because the biggest thing I want to talk about is Rey. I have so many questions and theories about her, and that one scene alone is filled with so many Easter eggs. And real quick, don't forget I'm going to be here making fun videos for you guys every single week. By subscribing, you can stay up to date on all the latest movies and theories that everyone's going to be talking about. All you have to do is go down and hit that red button that says subscribe, and you'll become part of this community that's filled with tons of people that love to talk about the same things that you love to talk about.
Do it.
So we're not going to waste any more time because we've got so many exciting things to talk about. For the first minute and 12 seconds of the trailer, we see clips stitched together from the previous 8 films that will all relate to this movie in some way or another. Luke with the Rising Suns is where the franchise started, and this movie is where it's going to end. All these pivotal moments have pushed and pulled at the story to mold it into what the movie is supposed to conclude, and I'm hoping with everything inside of me that JJ does a good job. I have no doubt it'll be 10 times better than The Last Jedi, but I want this movie to do the Skywalker story justice. I know there's a lot to tell and piece back together after Rian Johnson ripped apart the story with the last one, but I'm really hoping JJ can pull this off. A lot of the rest of the shots are very intimate with a lot of physical touch and emotional connection. I think this is symbolizing how large of a role connection will play in this one, not only emotionally, but also with certain characters' relationships, which we'll talk about towards the end of the video, wink wink. But let's jump ahead to where the episode 9 footage starts. I mean, at this point, I had goosebumps all over my body, but I got so excited as they started rolling all these new clips, and the first shot, ooh, I love the character's new looks for this film. But let's take a look at Threepio. His red arm from the last movie is gone, and he's back to being our golden boy. Eyes look fine, nothing out of the ordinary. Rey looks so good in white, but look at her waist real quick. Remember at the end of The Last Jedi, her and Kylo were fighting in the throne room over the lightsaber and it exploded into 2 parts? They were both knocked unconscious, but Rey came to before Kylo and had time to give him a quick smooch and then grab the pieces of Luke's lightsaber and be out of there before he could wake up. Some time has passed between the movies and apparently it's been enough for Rey to fix the lightsaber. I figured they would have her fix it for the next movie, but how did she learn how to repair a lightsaber with all the Jedi gone? I mean, it looks like she just used a big rubber band as a band-aid and hope for the best, but I think that'd be really cool to see her repairing the lightsaber after the last movie ends, like in a Kyber cave or something. The deleted scene of Luke building his green lightsaber in Return of the Jedi looks so sick. I was kind of disappointed it didn't make the final cut, but apparently it was a little too dark and viewers assumed he turned to the dark side. But moving forwards, we get to see our first shot of Leia in what looks to be some sort of forest. Now, I am so happy that they decided to not recreate Leia digitally and just use unused scenes of her from the last few movies stitched together with elements from this movie. It was the best thing they could have done, and it's going to have so much more emotional resonance with the fans knowing that every time we see Princess Leia, that's actually Carrie Fisher on screen. I know for a fact that your boy's eyes will probably be swelling up like an anime girl, but know that it's just because my allergies are acting up. And finally, we get to see some B-Wings drop out of hyperspace with what looks to be Tantive 4 from A New Hope. Now, it could just be some random blockade runner, but I feel like there's a good chance it's the same one from A New Hope. It'd be very poetic, like George Lucas liked. Maybe see Leia's story begin and then end there. But we cut to some dark skies lit up with some lightning to reveal 150 or so Imperial Star Destroyers. Yes, these are not the First Orders. These are from the days of the Empire. Most likely they had to do with some contingency plan Palpatine set up in case everything went really bad. Like a small group of rebels blowing up their moon-sized space station or something. The only noticeable thing different from the straight-up Imperial Star Destroyers from the original trilogy is that these seem to have a red line running along the edges of them. Now, immediately I remembered that on the First Order TIE Fighters, there's a similar red marking on the side of the cockpit. What if the red stripe resembles the First Order? Maybe Palpatine put into motion them being made, and now they're operating as a super fleet under the First Order. Who knows? But the next big wow shot to talk about, holy cow, RedEyed Threepio? What's with that? I mean, hopefully this means we'll be getting a little more 3PO action since he was basically non-existent in the last one. I'm glad to see the red arms gone, but Holy cow, what is with those eyes? Did someone activate his instant kill mode or something? That looks sick! I'm really curious about this because in both the leaked posters he's holding Chewbacca's sling and his bowcaster. Normally 3PO would never touch a gun. Someone must have activated combat mode or something, but I think this is awesome. It's going to lead to some great comedic bits, and that alone has me excited for this movie. Now, realistically, I feel like the eyes will probably have to do with his memory of some sort. He's just a protocol droid, but he's been on the front lines to witness the majority of the pivotal events that helped shape the universe into what it's become today. If you remember, 3PO had his memory wiped after Episode 3, but I'm pretty sure it was mentioned somewhere that's canon now that those memories are still salvageable. Maybe someone is trying to access some of those memories from when he was with Palpatine, when he was a senator for some reason. Or another possibility is, what if they come across an ancient language that they need him to decipher, but it's so outdated it's not in his databank? Maybe they have to give him an update, and that's when his eyes turn red. And I think this will actually play a role in the story and not just be some random change that is never explained. But this next shot is the first shot that made me stand up and really fanboy. We finally get to see Rey doing some actual training. For 2 movies, she went on to fight a Sith who had trained his whole life in lightsaber combat and was able to use every force power known to us as well as new ones without even having any practice. Just a complete and utter screw you to all the Jedi in the previous 6 films that dedicated their entire lives to being Jedi when all she did was be a nobody and never train. She literally picked up a lightsaber and she was good. Now, once all the fans spoke up how big of a plot hole this was, Johnson tried to cover it up by saying when Kylo went into her mind to search for the location of Luke, she downloaded all his force powers. I mean, what the heck? Who let this person make a Star Wars movie? Had he even seen the previous movies? But like I was saying, I'm actually really excited for this sequence and hope she gets a chance to hone her skills with a lightsaber. It looks like she gets pretty frustrated with the training droid she's training with and force throws her lightsaber through a tree, which is so satisfying to see. I'm so happy they brought back the lightsaber throw. It just adds that sweet cherry on top to the movie. But I can't help but wonder. We know they visit the wreckage of the second Death Star, and we know the Death Star exploded over the forest moon of Endor. I mean, could it be? Nah, they wouldn't. Or would they? I don't know. I'm kind of hoping it's Endor. It'd be nice to revisit at least one familiar planet in this trilogy. This shot of Kylo, absolutely sick. I want to see more beautiful shots like this. And Rey and Kylo fighting on the Death Star, this is just sick. We can see a turret on the left side, possibly from the trench run, or maybe they're fighting on remnants of the trench. That could be. But I think this fight happens towards the beginning of the film, and then as things unfold, they'll end up having to team up to fight the Emperor or something. I mean, it's called Rise of Skywalker. Other than Leia, Ben is the only Skywalker left, so who's to say that all this isn't about him turning to the light side? But now here's the scene we've all been waiting for. Darkseid Rey? What? Come on, you're pulling my leg. There's no way this is real. This is like the producers saw that picture that went around a while ago of Lightside Kylo and Darkseid Rey, and they were like, alright, let's give them that. But it seems like that's what they want us to think. I feel like it's going to be pulled out from under us and this is just a dream or something, because if it wasn't, this would be a huge plot twist to reveal in the teaser trailer. This could all just be a vision that Palpatine is manipulating Kylo to see to entice him to do his bidding. You do this and Bay will join the dark side. I mean, that's probably not a bad deal for whatever it is. Unless it's like letting him use his body as a vessel so he can possess him and lead the new order through him. I mean, this would be nothing new for Palpatine. This happened in the comics in the expanded universe. I feel like it's not too more far-fetched than having him come back in the first place. Plus, I feel like they took heavy inspiration from Han and Leia's kids, Anakin and Jaina Solo, for Kylo and Rey's characters. What's to say they won't take some more elements from it for this film? And I think this is actually what Palpatine originally intended on doing with Anakin. We heard him talk about this way he found to cheat death, and I think this is what he was talking about. Darth Plagueis, Palpatine's master, created Anakin indirectly as a result of some of his midichlorian experiments he was doing when he was trying to create a life form entirely from the Force. What if Palpatine was trying to do what his master was trying to do to cheat death, and he created Rey the same way Darth Plagueis created Anakin in hopes of Palpatine being able to use her body as a vessel one day? What if our Rey is a failure and the Darth Rey was created after the fact and she's the true Rey that Palpatine would one day possess? This happened to Vader too in The Force Unleashed 2. He tried to see if he could clone his apprentice, and just like Rey, the one clone that we see and get to play as is the good clone, or the failure to Vader. And at the end, if you choose to kill Vader, the true Starkiller clone that's a Sith comes out and kills you. I mean, Rey being a clone is pretty out there, but at this point, I'm not going to put anything past him. This has been done multiple times before, and it would explain Rey being a nobody for the last 2 movies. I mean, if she's not a clone, Palpatine will at least possess Rey, and then he'll just end up going into another body, maybe Kylo's, until they figure out how to get rid of him. Maybe we'll see Rey rush to Kylo's rescue and save him from Palpatine's consciousness or something. I'm excited to see where they take this. You'll have to tell me what you think in the comments. I mean, on the lesser side of the excitement, it could just be another dark side cave and she's looking at what she'll become if she turns to the dark side. They did this in Empire with Luke on Dagobah. During his training with Yoda, he went in a dark side cave and confronted the dark side version of himself as Vader, which is what he would become if he turned to the dark side. Because I feel like there's almost no chance of Rey actually turning to the dark side in this movie. It just seems like they're trying to mislead us, which I feel like they love doing that, or at least thinking they are. They did this in the Rogue One trailer with Jyn. Saw Gerrera asked, "What will you become?" And then Jyn turned around dressed in an Imperial uniform as if she joined the Empire or something. Same thing happened with Finn in the Force Awakens trailer with the lightsaber. No one knew anything about these characters yet, so everyone thought he was going to be a Jedi. That was a good curveball. But this one seems a bit too obvious. It would be cool, just seems unlikely. But let's talk about her lightsaber real quick. Woo-wee, adding another blade, are we? Looks like this one will sell a lot of toys. What do you think, Disney? Honestly, it's a sick idea. I love the saber, but you know what's wrong with it? Do you want to know why I laughed the first time I saw it rather than got fanboy googly eyes? What was... It looks like she got a big butterfly knife for the first time and doesn't know how to use it. This isn't a new saber to Star Wars. The Temple Guards and Rebels used it and they look sick. They were fast and elegant and sleek and they made me get on the edge of my seat and want one. They were also in the Clone Wars. Pon Krell was a rogue Jedi that actually wielded two of them at once. And they looked just as sick as you would expect. He knew how to use them and he was an unstoppable machine. It just looks like Rey kind of whimsically drops the other half because she accidentally ignited the blades before she flipped out the hilt. I think it'll look better once it's used properly. The idea of her wielding it is sick, don't get me wrong, I'm really excited for it. I just hope that they do it justice and she gets some training in with it and then we get an absolute sick lightsaber fight. I mean, we could really use a good lightsaber duel in this trilogy. And I love the blade too. I love that it's unstable like Kylo's, or maybe it's Kylo's in a vision, or maybe she's in the wreckage of the second Death Star and she found Vader's lightsaber and used his old Kyber crystal to make this one. Ooh, could you imagine? That would be insane. This would explain the Darth Vader breathing in the background as well as the unstable blade. So much here to think about, and I've got so many more ideas and theories in my head. Thank you for listening to me. I had so much I wanted to say. I just needed to tell someone, so thank you. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. I'm going to put an end card here, so all you have to do is click this little circle. It couldn't be any easier. It really helps me out and supports the channel. Which, speaking of, I need a little help with something. I think I'm going to make a quick video for Friday to go in more detail, but if you want to help, make sure you've got post notifications on so you get notified when it drops. Do it. But comment down below your thoughts on everything we talked about, because until next time, I'm going to see you in the comments. Peace.